All right, welcome back to Impossible Versus Matches, where we are talking about versus matches that are impossible. Join with me once again is my good friend Preston,
Howdy doody.
and just like all the other times, Preston's got a list of 50 characters. I've got a list of 50 characters. We spin our randomizer wheel, and then one of my characters goes against one of Preston's characters, and one of us has to improvise a situation in that they would be doing battle. It's not about who would win, it's just the situation that leads us there, because that's the funny part. With that being said, Preston, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first for this one?
You can go first, my man. I'd like to see how this matchup starts, how this episode will go on your end.
All right, sounds good. Go ahead and spin your wheel.
On the case, I have got. Oh, what? Oh, okay. It was literally right on the line. You've got Akuma from Street Fighter.
Okay, Akuma from Street Fighter. All right. This is hilarious. Okay, so first of all, what I forgot to mention for the listeners there is that for this episode, I'm putting in a curveball of we are eliminating Disney and Pixar characters from the episode. So if we get one on our wheel, we just re-roll. Now, Disney and Pixar characters is just stuff they created. We are not that means that Muppets, Star Wars, and Marvel are all fair game because Disney did not create those characters. But meanwhile, we've got Akuma versus B Rabbit, Eminem's character from 8 Mile.
These are both some hard scorning dudes.
Yes. Now, in an actual fight, I think it's very obvious who would win this. It's clearly going to be Akuma because it's Akuma from Street Fighter. He's already a monster in that game by that game's standards, and now he's going up against, you know, kid from 8 Mile. Okay,
Yeah, Akuma's
so
sure a demon of sorts.
yes, um, so I think how this would play out pretty simple. So Akuma, as Street Fighter characters do, he hears about an underground tournament, an underground battle tournament.
Is
And
this is this Def Jam?
no, this is just an underground like rap battle scenario.
Okay,
like
okay,
it's,
okay.
so Akuma ends up, he goes to this underground, battle tournament because he has to be the best and show everyone that he can indeed be the best challenger. Uh to his surprise, it's rap battles. So um but he sees that people are actually being defeated by these words, and for the very first time Akuma has to speak from his heart.
Oh,
So because a Street Fighter character, especially Akuma, like the guys in the gis, so like Akuma, Ryu, Ken, all those guys, um they must undergo some intense training, and they need to be experts in these ways of fighting. And what Akuma sees is that this rap battling is indeed their way of fighting. So he's accepted that he can't just go in and beat the crap out of everyone there, because of course Akuma could easily one shot everyone in the 8 Mile battle rapping community. so he ends up going in, and everyone thinks he's a clown because he's coming in in this outfit that's not like the jeans and the beanie and the giant shirt or whatever, the stuff that they wear in that era, because this is during the 8 Mile era.
Right, right.
And so so he quickly learns it because he's a quick learner of, martial arts, and now he's getting a grip on the rap battle scene. So so Akuma is dropping health bars all over the place. And so eventually, a crew, likes his style and is like, hey, you gotta join us. So he's like, okay, sure. um no, he's like, he doesn't need an alliance because it's Akuma, so that's out of character. My bad. The rapping was okay, but the joining a crew, not okay. My mistake. So eventually he, goes up, and he has learned that he can, spit his rhymes at intense speed. Like I imagine Akuma raps like Busta Rhymes when Busta Rhymes is like really trying.
Oh yeah.
So like going hard with the speed.
Oh
So Akuma ends up getting to the finals, where he goes up against B Rabbit, of course, Eminem's character from 8 Mile.
yeah.
um and he gets really shocked when Eminem, I mean B Rabbit, it's not Eminem, it's B Rabbit, completely different people. um
That's it.
when B Rabbit reveals to the crowd that Akuma's real name is Clarence, and Clarence's parents have a real good marriage. So Eminem is dissing Akuma hard, and Akuma starts choking, so he loses his cool and starts beating the shit out of B Rabbit.
Oh no.
So he loses cool. So like everyone's trying to, be like, yo, calm down, calm down. So they're like, holding back Akuma. And so
They're all
that
yelling,
allows,
"Remember your training! Remember your training! Remember the
yeah.
bars!"
Right. But this allows B Rabbit to take some like some cheap shots, and then like his friend, shoots himself in the foot,
Oh my
again. And so after things calm down, they go back to spitting. And but Akuma ends up losing to B Rabbit, and this ends up starting one of the greatest rap beefs of all time.
Amazing.
Akuma eventually signs to Death Row Records, and uh, and you know how that goes.
Oh man, he basically just turns Death Row Records into a literal death row.
Yes. And M Bison makes a deal with Suge Knight.
Oh my god.
So that's pretty much how it goes. It starts a huge rap beef that lasts like years. Um, but they end up, scrapping a few times, and Akuma ends up hanging up his gi, and becomes a battle rapper.
It's fantastic, sir.
Yes, thank you. But
Akuma's
they're
got
always
a
beefing.
career now. Make it known.
Yeah, but they some say that B Rabbit and Akuma are still beefing to this day.
Oh man, that was solid, bro.
Thank you. I had to try really hard for that one.
Dude, you made it happen. Honestly, dude. Like the beginning sounded like you were about to describe like a crossover, like from Death Row or Def Jam Fight for Detroit,
Mhm.
and he ends up getting there, but it actually ends up being like a rap battle instead of a fighting battle. And so he
Yeah.
still goes through and finds out his inner rapper.
Mhm.
He's got them bars. And dude, oh my god, gets signed to Death Row, makes it a Death Row.
Yep.
Oh man, that was good, dude. You
Yep.
held that together pretty cohesively.
Akuma really has to. Um, Akuma really took it personally when someone referred to his rhymes as whack.
Oh man, I bet that really brought out the demon in him.
Oh, of course, but he now channels that demon into his rhyme scheme.
My demons scheming, Akuma's gleaming, beat the rabbit, and
It
now
looks like an apple, but no, it's not. It's a peach. Oh my god. Yeah. Eminem, what a fun guy.
What a great guy.
And certainly a good sport. Please don't diss me, Eminem.
Yeah, no, for real. Eminem, fucking, you heard that one song that he put out recently, Godzilla, with like
Yeah.
Juice WRLD? Dude, right at the end, I don't know if you've seen the little like skit that Chris D'Elia does in like his car where he's like mocking Eminem and how he raps. He just sounds so angry.
Yeah.
Chris D'Elia is like, look what I'm planning something. I got too many napkins, papkins, and like all this stuff. And then fucking at the end of that Godzilla song, fucking Eminem just like comes in at the end. He says something and then rhymes the end. He goes, "Yeah, so look what I'm planning," and the song ends.
Huh.
It's
I
a
didn't see
direct
that.
reference from that Chris D'Elia video, and I'm
I've
like,
heard the song, but I didn't see that skit or anything.
I'll definitely send you a link to it.
Sounds good.
I love it. It shows he's such a good sport about it.
So, I guess on that note, we're going to move on to your next scenario, sir.
And let's see what I can unravel here.
All right. I am spinning the wheel. Oh, I forgot to shuffle a few times, but you know what? That's okay. I'm perfectly happy with this contender. So, I've got the Four Horsemen, not of the apocalypse, but have you seen the movie Now You See Me?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the group of magicians from Now You See Me.
Oh. All right. So this is a goof, but I put a spot on my list to add a character's name.
Yeah.
And I didn't add the character's name, so I got nobody.
Oh. Well, you know what? Go ahead and just spin again.
No, I'm gonna. But imagine how funny it would be from the Four Horsemen from Now, or Can You See Me, or whatever it is, going against no one that they can't actually see. How stumped they would be.
Yeah, the Invisible Man.
Oh man, all right, this is gonna be rough. This is gonna be a hard one.
Oh, okay.
I got Puma. Oh, well, it's a Disney character.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you gotta spin one more time.
And I accidentally forgot to remove it on that last one, and so I got him again. All right, here we go. All right, this one should be interesting. All right, so I got Beast Boy from the DC Universe's Teen Titans.
Okay, interesting. Gonna slowly go through all the Teen Titans because we had Starfire in one of them.
That's right.
In a more recent episode.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. Wasn't that one from my list too? I think it was, right?
It may have been.
Because I definitely remember having Starfire. But anyway, I think I know how I'm going to approach this. So we got the Four Horsemen from the movie Can You See Me, Catch Me Now?
Now you
later.
see me.
Now you see me. I'm a magician. An unfortunate role for Woody Harrelson to have to fill, but he did it anyway.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent movie.
I mean, the first one I thought was all right. The second one, I just didn't. I wasn't into it.
I haven't seen it, but I'd like to.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. For a sequel, it just didn't really impress me the way that the first one did. I think it was hard for them to try to figure out all these other illusions and stuff for them to do. But anyway, they're putting on a show there in where are the Teen Titans based, in Gotham? Where are they at?
That's a really good question because all I know it's just like nondescript city. I'm gonna look that up right now. It's either Gotham or Metropolis. That's my thought.
That's my thought too. I mean, those are like the two major places that are on Earth.
And that makes sense. let's see. I'm gonna look that up. Do you have like go ahead and just start your scenario and I'll let you know.
Yeah, they basically are doing a show in the Teen Titans city,
Oh,
and Beast Boy, he's a fan of entertainment. He
it's
loves
just New York.
entertainment. Okay, cool. I was literally about to just say New York, but I didn't want to be like, oh, this kid's an idiot. He just sees a city and thinks it's New York.
Yeah, actually, we're all correct because according to this, that they have Titans Tower, the actual like Titans Tower is in New York City, but then they also have a solar tower in Metropolis, and they have a Titans layer in Gotham City.
Oh, fantastic.
So
So,
they've used all of them. So your choice.
awesome. All right. I'm going to say that the Four Horsemen, they're doing a tour. And they're
All right.
hitting up all of these towers. All right. They're coming to every city that the Teen Titans are like known to be at. And Beast Boy, he catches wind of this while they're in New York, just chilling, hanging out. He's crushing on Raven like super hard at this point, and he's like trying to figure out like a good way to like bring her out on a date.
Right.
And so he books tickets for their show coming to New York, and Beast Boy like gets Raven on board. She's like, that sounds stupid. I'll be able to debunk all of their magic because I am the sorceress supreme."
Right.
And so she's got like sarcastic attitude. And so they go to this show next day, and freaking the Four Horsemen are there, and they're like putting on all these tricks. They Beast Boy's like sitting in the crowd. He's like, I wonder why they call them the Four Horsemen. Like, oh, can they turn into a horse? I can. And he just like turns into a horse while in the audience real quick, and then like turns back. And the Four Horsemen, they see this. They see something happen in the crowd, and they're like, did you plan that? Did you do that? And they're like, no, I didn't do that. So they're all looking at each other like, what the hell was that? This is weird. Let's keep doing our magic. And they keep doing their magic. Now, this is where things start to get interesting. The Four Horsemen in each one of these shows, they have this elaborate plan to like steal from everybody.
Right.
Just like pickpocket everyone in the crowd, right?
Yeah.
So freaking Beast Boy's like, oh man, I wish I had like a better view, because like they don't have front row seats. They're like, I don't know, maybe midway back in this huge theater hall.
Right.
And so he's like, I'll be right back. And so he goes up onto the stage as like a mouse, because he's like, I want to be small, I don't want to be unseen, but I want a good view. And so he goes up onto the stage, and Jesse Eisenberg's character, I don't remember his name whatsoever,
It doesn't matter.
notices the mouse and like looks at it while they're in the middle of performing this trick where they're like potentially gonna like disappear. And it's Jesse Eisenberg's job to make sure that he does this thing on time so that everybody disappears properly. And so as he's going to do this, he notices the mouse, and then the mouse is starting to go toward Woody Harrelson's character. And Woody Harrelson is not a fan of mice, small rodents of any kind. Doesn't matter what he's doing, how he's feeling, he hates them. And so he sees the mouse coming right toward him, and then him and Jesse Eisenberg are like holding up like this big sheet or something stupid. And it's literally just like a distraction to where like they have somebody behind the sheet, and they're gonna like drop the sheet, and like the person behind it's supposed to disappear, but like everybody else is gonna disappear instead. And freaking it throws Woody Harrelson off enough to where he tries to like curb stomp Beast Boy as a mouse, and Beast Boy just ends up just turning into himself like right before this happens. And it ends up like pushing Woody Harrelson's foot like back up into his face, so he like knees himself in the mouth and like starts bleeding, because like I don't know, I think the physics of like a man turning back into his normal self would basically counteract the force of some guy's stomping motion. But Beast Boy would he's just like, ow man, dude, what gives, dude, that really hurt. He's like, you're no animal activist. And he's like, what kind of Four Horsemen are you? And freaking this like messes up the whole trick.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, and during this process, it like sends the other two horse people to like they're in the crowd like trying to pickpocket people at this point because they're the only ones that like disappeared. And fucking Beast Boy basically, or Raven basically notices this because someone tries to pickpocket her, and she like makes it known to Beast Boy. She's like, Beast Boy, these people are criminals. They're trying to steal our stuff. And Raven like basically exposes them with her mystical powers and notices that they're got a lot of money. And so then they all try to like freaking bail out of the place. And that's when a pursuit engages between Beast Boy being like, oh man, can't believe I paid $50 for these tickets. And then he goes on a foot chase, turn into like a cheetah, and just each one of them just hunting them down and basically wrapping it up and throwing them away. He tackles each one of them swiftly with charm and grace. And that's pretty much it. Basically just made it like an episode of Teen Titans with the criminals being the Four Horsemen.
Yeah. But in true Now You See Me fashion, he catches all the Four Horsemen, but it turns out those weren't even the Four Horsemen.
Boom.
They had already performed that show last week.
That's right, and now they're at the other Titans tower.
Yeah, they're at one of the other Titans places putting on a show for Cyborg. You know, I honestly thought you were about to go in a different direction with that one, like when Beast Boy, turns into a horse or something. Like I thought they would get all pissed because now a person that can actually transform into animals is now upstaging their magic act. And I thought they'd just get pissed off from there.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty good too.
But yeah, there's a pretty solid little Teen Titans episode there.
There you go, man.
With the Four Horsemen.
Let's get a listener to draw up that episode.
Yes. Actually, that'd be really fun. Who wants to draw one of the matchups? Go right ahead. If you're listening and can draw, or if you can't draw, do it anyway.
Do it anyway, and let us know about it. We would love to feature it. We would love to look at it.
Yeah.
And talk to you about it.
I will show it on. I'll show it on the show. If you send it to me, draw one of the matchups. Doesn't even have to just be Four Horsemen versus Beast Boy. Any of them that we've done. Why not? Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Brave Little Toaster and Leatherface would make a good one.
Yeah, go right ahead. Just draw whatever. I don't care. No judgment here.
We'd love to see it.
Of course. All right, so let's go on to our next matchup then.
Sounds good, my man. I am rolling.
Yep.
Spinning, actually. My bad. Can you tell I play D&D? I'm always rolling. All right, Hellboy.
Yep.
All right, you got Hellboy.
Hellboy. Okay. So you remember before we started recording, and I was like, really funny matchups are like serious characters versus non-serious characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is Hellboy versus Dora the Explorer.
Oh my god.
Oh. Okay. How am I going to make this work?
Oh, dude, I got a good suggestion for you.
If you hold on to that, because I think I got something.
All right, sounds good.
Go ahead and lay it on me after it. So, Dora is, going on one of her, famous adventures to find, like, I don't know, a talking frog that wears overalls or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Uh, and so she's, going along and doing her stuff, and she comes by like a lake, and she's like, "We need to cross the lake. Do you see something in the lake that can help us?" And like, there's a very obvious like boat in the background to cross the lake, but more importantly, it so this is in the art style of Dora, just like how that show looks.
Yeah.
But then a hyper realistic the fish guy from Hellboy is also in the lake. Um, and instead of going for the obvious boat, the little mouse, the little like cursor from the show like goes and clicks on the fish guy whose name I don't know. I do not know a lot about Hellboy, but for this scenario, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, word. I'm gonna look up his name because it's on the tip of my tongue because I think he's a doctor or something.
All right, while you're looking that up, so now that the mouse has clicked on it, she turns around and she's like, "Whoa, what's that?" And um,
His name's Abraham.
okay. Now help me. So Hellboy, he resides in hell, correct? Is this like fact? Like in an underworld scenario?
What's that?
Like, where does Hellboy live? Does he live in
He
hell?
lives in a city.
Okay.
He lives in a city in like a kind of like rundown market area that's it
Okay.
acts as like a secret lair.
So where does the hell come into play here?
Basically he's like a spawn of he's like one of Satan's kids or like the descendant of the bigger demon of hell, and he more or less is put on a crime fighting force that helps fight demons and mutants, keep
Okay, so
keeps humanity safe.
so is it safe to say that he does not get along with um, you know,
Tiny annoying little
the main devil himself?
oh yeah, yeah.
So he does not get along with, Satan, the devil.
Oh yeah, no, they got beef. He's like an
Okay.
anti-hero.
All right. Got this then. Okay. So, she sees Abraham and she's like, "Huh, I wonder who that is. Let's follow him." And but she's like, "But where did he go?" And out comes the map, and the map, usually in a like Dora episode will lead to, whatever the goal is, be it, her house or a bridge or something. Um and but this time the map is half normal, the other half leads to the gates of hell themselves. And she's like, "Okay." So
Just,
um
okay.
yeah,
Vámonos.
so
Everybody,
yeah,
let's go.
vamonos. So they they somehow end up, like getting underwater through, something that's in the backpack, some tool like a diving suit or something.
Do you
And
see a snorkel in the
I
backpack? There it is.
yeah, and so she ends up going down and then finding like a way to get to hell. and um and she sees like Abraham's there and like Hellboy's there, and they don't notice her yet, and she she keeps exploring hell, and she finds, you know, the main devil himself, and he's like, what is it you seek? And she's like, I want to go to the big tree or something like that. And he's like, why have one tree when you can have all the trees in the world? And then like gives her like some sort of mystical artifact that lets her like basically in the wrong hands could, you know, destroy the world, like make trees grow and stuff, and
Some
like
Captain
control
Planet
plant,
stuff.
yeah, like control like plant life or whatever. And she's like, muy bueno.
Bueno.
Yeah. And so she has this, and so she goes, um you know, she goes on her way. She doesn't really know what she's got, but Hellboy knows what she's got. So she gets she gets back up, and uh she ends up at, you know, the tree, or like whatever her end game goal is, to just get to a tree. And you know, Hellboy shows up to like intercept her, and he's like, I'm gonna need to take that back now. And she's like, El Diablo, a demon. And she's like, no, I found this. Swiper, no swiping. And
Demon was swiping.
yeah, and then that doesn't work. You know, Hellboy doesn't put up with any of that, so he just goes over and just, you know, takes the artifact from her, and it's maybe like, you know, shoves her on the ground or something, and then leaves.
Uh,
That's it.
Amazing, dude. That's pretty similar to how I would have ended it, honestly. Freaking,
Yeah.
I was thinking because I'm a pretty big fan of Hellboy. Excuse me. So I would have imagined him because the second movie he has to go and find this golden army that's supposedly if they are arisen gonna like take over like the whole world, uh, or they could be used to save it. And so it's like a race between him and the antagonist, which is like a group of like dark elves. Uh, trying to like raise this army so that they can take over the world. And so Dora like catches wind of that, and she's like, "The apocalypse is amongst us. I have to go and apocalypse. I have to go and get the golden army." And so she basically gets the map to traverse to where the golden army is located, and the golden army is on like this kind of remote island, like out in I think like freaking Netherlands or something. And there's like this big stone monster in which they have to like do this thing, and that opens a portal gate to like this cavern in which they can go down into, and there lies the golden army. But basically then she would run into like Hellboy and Abraham there. Excuse me. And yeah, she would just be like, hola, are you here for the golden army too? And they would just be like, what the hell is this child doing here? And then just be like, I, well, could we be friends or something? And basically just play it out to where like her and Hellboy become like super best buds because they bond over the enjoyment of kittens. Because Hellboy is such a sucker for cats, and he's got so many kittens, and he loves pancakes. And Dora's like, I like pancakes too. And they basically just, yeah, delicioso. And then the dark elf guy would like come into play and be like, I'm raising the army right now. And basically like how the movie does, but Dora's there as a companion, and her and Boots are just basically just like running around and just like having fun like a kid. And like the golden army and shit is getting taken out by Hellboy and Abraham. And while they're like basically it's just kids having fun and just like destruction happening all around them, they're just like, this is fine. And
Yeah.
yes, and then, you know, freaking, we could have it even where it's then the dark elf main dude, he ends up taking out or like stabbing Hellboy. Hellboy's gonna be okay, but like Dora gets all upset about this, and she's like, I gotta get in my backpack and find something to help Hellboy, and she goes, do you see anything that can be helped? And you like clearly see that she's got like a handgun in her backpack. and so these little mouse cursor come by and like click on the handgun. She goes, muy bueno, that's right. It's a 9mm. And she just takes it out and she just fucking shoots the dude right in the head. She goes, muy bien, we did it.
It's a Glock.
Mess with the Hotto, you get the Glocko. Papa. And then basically she just pops a cap in Dark Elf's ass, and her and Hellboy, they bond over pancakes and kittens for the rest of their lives.
Sounds good to me. I went with the long build up to a little reward.
Dude, I loved it though. I mean, I would have cut it off there too, but I was like, well, you know what, I'm in it right now. It's like, I think it would be pretty funny if we just gave Dora a very inappropriate item in her backpack to like solve this situation.
I mean,
otherwise it would have just been like
her map to the gates of hell.
yeah, dude, I mean, that was great.
But no, I am not knowledgeable on Hellboy like at all. So your scenario is better where they like end up both being they unknowingly are both on a quest for the same thing.
Yeah, and she just runs into him then, and
yeah.
and then they just become friends because they bond over cats and pancakes.
Yeah, because I don't see any reason why Dora would not like cats and pancakes.
For real, I mean, she's got a monkey, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, what's a kitten other than a less intelligent monkey?
Right. And I know that Hellboy's not going to have some epic, like, battle with Dora, because Dora is at most maybe 8.
Yeah, no, if anything, he would just be like, what is a child doing here? And he would just, like, remove her from the premises, and that would be it, because he's like, I can't harm this tiny little girl unless she were a demon, but she's not. And, I mean, she may seem like it to some, but she's not.
I could see, because, you know, this is versus matches, they do have to cross over and go against each other somehow. So she has an artifact that Hellboy is looking for, and he's like, give it to me, and she's like, no, swiper, no swiping.
Dude, I love that.
He's like, yeah, no, he uses his like big arm and just like takes it out of her hand and just leaves.
Yeah, dude. Or he just picks her up, just by like the head, and then just starts walking away.
Yeah,
he's like, all right, fine. If you won't give it to me, you're coming with me then.
Because
she's like, no, we gotta go.
There's no way that a grown man, let alone, you know, Hellboy, is going to have any struggle like taking something from a small child. Like, Hellboy doesn't need to go all out for Dora the Explorer.
Or that's for sure.
Unless she has, like, his weakness in the backpack. Whatever that may be.
Right, which I don't think she does.
No. Because why would she?
But yet again, why wouldn't she? She is Dora. She does get these weird items.
This is true.
And what does she even do with these items after she gets them? I don't remember.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. She just gets the item, teaches me some Spanish in the process, maybe some object recognition, and that's it, you know?
That's how it'd be. So, I guess we're going to move on to our last matchup of this episode. We've had quite a varied amount of characters this episode. I don't think we've had an episode where the characters are this different from each other.
Yeah, dude.
Like, almost like completely different universes. So go ahead, give your wheel a spin.
You know, I feel like the Captain America versus Winnie the Pooh one is kind of a similar matchup to that last one.
Yes, but Winnie the Pooh, unlike Dora, might be a interdimensional entity that needs to take care.
Yeah. Also, he'd be carrying that toolie around with him all the time.
Yeah.
All right. So let me. Here, you got a spin for me?
Yeah, I have a character already, but
Oh,
I'd
okay. Who
really
would
like
be?
to know what yours is.
Oh, okay. Well, I got Calvin and Hobbes, the classic
Oh,
comic book graphic novel characters.
Calvin and Hobbes. Okay. If you don't think this is funny enough, then I am more than willing to re-roll and save this character for another installment.
Oh,
I got Carl Weezer from
Carl.
from Jimmy Neutron.
Okay. Okay.
If you don't see enough funny potential in that, then I will be more than happy to put Carl Weezer back in the list and just give you another one because they are both kids.
I know, which is something I think I could relate it to. I
Mm-hmm.
think I could make it pretty funny, honestly. I think I'm going to give it a go.
All right, Carl Weezer. He's in the matchup. Carl Weezer versus Calvin and Hobbes.
Carl Weezer versus Calvin and Hobbes. All right, so this is how I'm thinking this plays out. Calvin and Hobbes are living in a neighborhood with Jimmy Neutron and within his town. They're outside chilling on their porch, thinking of stuff that they want to do. Classic start to a Calvin and Hobbes adventure,
Of
and
course.
they are like, "Man, I'm bored," and then they see this vehicle, this craft, this thing just fly by on the
Mhm.
street like super fast, and behind it they see this roly poly kid wheezing it up, uh, just trying to chase down that thing that flew by. And he's like, "Oh, Jimmy, wait! Oh, Jimmy, slow down! I'm
That was
wheezing."
actually a pretty decent Carl Weezer.
And he's all asthmatic and stuff, and so he kind of like stops in front of the house, and Calvin and Hobbes like look at each other, and they're like, well, should we go talk to this guy? Let's go talk to him. So they go and they talk to Carl Weezer, and they introduce themselves. They're like, "Hey man, what's the deal with that thing that you were chasing?" And he's like, "Oh, this my friend uh, Jimmy, he's great, he's a genius." And they're like, "A genius, huh?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's his new hovercraft. It goes so fast." And
It's starting to sound like Miss Fowl for a little bit.
yeah, dude. Shit. And so they're like, "Oh, what? We got to meet this Jimmy guy." And they're like, "That's cool. Is Jimmy nice? Can we meet him?" And so they elaborately trick Carl into getting them to meet Jimmy so that they can have an awesome adventure. And they basically go to Jimmy's house. Jimmy's working up the magic in the lab, brain blasting it up. Uh, really, though, he's actually just like making meth. And,
I didn't expect that left turn.
and he's really just like making a lot of meth. So there's like a lot of fumes going on. Things are getting weird. Jimmy's now like known as a meth head, so he's just a bit
Quick,
loopy.
got,
Um,
got two questions for you before you continue. Just got to stop you real quick. Uh,
oh yeah, what?
Number one, is this like in a future setting? Is Jimmy and Carl and stuff, are they like more adults or teenagers now? Or does Jimmy
No,
just make
no, Jimmy just got bored, and he's too smart for his own good. So he's like, I got to be able to make money and save up for my college fund. So I'm gonna make meth and sell it on
Ah,
the streets. And he knows
okay.
not to get high on his own supplies. So it's like he's
Uh,
not really a meth head. It's just like
Fair enough.
he cooking it up in the kitchen. So it's or in the lab. So it's kind of fumigated.
Got
So
it.
he's
So
just a little loopy sometimes,
the
but he helps with his brain blasting.
of course. Um, so the second question is very important for the whole scenario. Can Carl and Jimmy, like, can all the other characters, can they see Hobbs?
No.
Okay, so
He's a stuffed animal. He's a
yes,
stuffed animal. And like if like basically they just think it's another Sheen situation, like an Ultra Lord type thing. They're just like,
yeah,
oh, okay, this kid's got
but
stuffed animal action
but
figure.
to Jimmy and Carl, they just see Calvin carrying around a stuffed tiger.
Yeah, well, not until this point. But
Okay,
yes, because that question actually leads into how this is about to play out.
got it.
So
Okay,
so with all the fumes and stuff that Jimmy's cooking up with the meth, he like Carl walks in, introduces Calvin and Hobbs to Jimmy, and now Carl doesn't see Hobbs, but Jimmy does because he's all high on these fumes, and he's like hallucinating, but he like thinks that it's real, and he knows that he's real, or like super convinced, and he's like, how did you get this tiger to stand on both legs? How do you? And he starts asking all these questions about Hobbs, and Calvin starts getting like really freaked out, and he ends up just looking around the room to see if there's like something in which he can just like quickly grab and like get away with. And he ends up seeing like Jimmy's hoverboard, his hovercraft that he's got. We're gonna say it's like a hoverboard. It's basically just we're gonna say it's just like a trash can lid that you just like stand on, and it just like
okay,
levitates you across the ground.
all
It's
right.
super high speed.
Why not? Why wouldn't Jimmy have something like
Yeah,
that?
we'll just say it's like a unifan basically that's just got like snowboard bindings on it.
Yeah.
It's kind of genius at the same time. It's kind of methy, you know.
Yeah.
Oh shit! So, Kelvin grabs that thing and he just like sees the on switch, turns it on, just hops on that thing, and he freaking starts flying around the room, knocking over this, that, and the other. All the meth like freaking that's being cooked, so like blows up and basically just takes out everyone. And that's pretty much the end of Jimmy Neutron and Calvin and Hobbs until Calvin wakes up, realizes that he's been laying in his front yard looking up at the sky. Hobbs is right next to him, was like, yo, what's the problem? Why are you screaming? And Calvin just was like, I had the scariest adventure in my head. I don't know if I ever want to go on an adventure again.
What?
What a turnaround, right? Right? That literally had you saying what, bro?
So how are they fighting Carl Weezer?
Well, they pretty much just blew Carl up.
Oh, okay.
yeah. No, Carl had very little to do other than bring him to see Jimmy, and somehow I was like, Jimmy's gonna have something that's gonna blow him up, and then I was like, well, shit, I want Jimmy to be a meth head. Carl's just like this weird, awkward kid who's just like, hey, meet these guys, and it just seemed very fitting for like Carl to just be doing very little and then just to have something catastrophic happen to him.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like a Carl Weezer scenario. You know what? I'm sure Jimmy Neutron will have his own matchup sometime in the far future.
Dude, but just like imagine that though, like if that's how your day went, if like you were
Yeah.
Carl Weezer, you had to chase down your genius friend who's like
Right.
kind of high on meth because he's just like now making it and selling it, and then you get ployed in by these random kid to like go and meet him,
Yeah,
and then you do it, and then you just fucking die because your homeboy's just blowing you up because there's meth being made. That's a pretty shit day.
Yeah, it's not fun. I hate days where I get blown up in the meth lab.
Dude, it's not a good time, man. Just ask Carl Weezer's. Well, you can't anymore, but you know.
I thought you were going to take this in so many different directions, honestly. I thought for like Jimmy would have an invention to make Hobbs real or something. Because that seems like something Jimmy would have as well.
Yeah, no, once I threw in that left fielded ball of him being a meth head, I just had to like run with it the best I could.
I mean, you know what? I could see Jimmy being a meth head. It's only a
Well,
matter.
it's not really like he's a meth head. It's just like as he makes it, he kind of like gets high off the fumes because it just helps him blast off, get the brain blasts.
Oh, give him time. Give him time. He'll get there. Another thing, like, I feel like Calvin and Hobbes just meeting, the Jimmy Neutron characters would actually go pretty well. Like,
Right? Like
at
I
least for
tried
a
to
little
start
bit,
it off like,
because
believable.
literally every fantasy that Calvin has in Calvin and Hobbes is something that comes true in Jimmy Neutron. Like, Jimmy can actually make all of that stuff happen for real. It's like,
Exactly. I always think of like Calvin when he pretends to be like that space cadet.
yeah,
You know?
Spaceman Spiff.
Yeah, Spiff.
Yeah, so like Jimmy can make that happen. Jimmy has a shrink ray. He probably has a ray gun, somewhere. Um, Jimmy could easily make like Calvin's like snowman creatures. Like he could make those an easy like reality.
True, dude.
Make them come to life. Calvin, like he makes a cardboard box a time machine, right? And
Oh,
like a multiplier. I'm sure those are just Jimmy Neutron episodes that have happened.
oh yeah, the time machine. I'm pretty sure I've seen
Yeah,
that.
time machine. I'm sure that's a Jimmy Neutron one. When he puts the box like on its side and it just makes clones of Calvin. Jimmy has made clones before. That's got to have happened.
Oh yeah, no, that
Um,
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the creator, like the brains behind Jimmy Neutron, had read a lot of Calvin and Hobbes.
you
Because
know,
Calvin
I
and
mean, I
Hobbes
think it's just
predate.
an instinctual thing for most kids. Like, I think that's the best part about Calvin and Hobbes is the
Yeah,
fact that it's like it relates to the most purest and innocent forms of the imagination. Those
right.
parts of the brain that are just like you visualize that you're a superhero or something, and you're
Mhm.
just running around your backyard with a blanket around your neck.
And the fact, like, so Calvin and Hobbes will like often pretend that their little like wheelbarrow is, a ship or a car or something like that. Like the wheelbarrow has many, uh, it's very versatile.
Oh yeah.
But like, in reality, it's a wheelbarrow. But Jimmy Neutron, if they were to ever meet, could act like his his main like spaceship. He has a hover car that's, as far as I can tell, is like a tire or something. But like Jimmy can actually make everyday objects fly for real, so he could actually make the wheelbarrow. Like do
Yeah,
all
see, that
stuff.
was like the thing that I tried to do with like his hoverboard invention, was like make it practical enough, and cool enough for Calvin to want to use it, even just to try and escape for
Yeah,
the few seconds before he fucked up and blew everybody up in the meth lab.
right. And if they were to actually, go against each other, it would totally be Kelvin tries to steal one of Jimmy's inventions because Kelvin's a little troublemaker himself.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to set up for,
Yeah,
in the long run, more or less, was like, set them up, meet them, then they're gonna steal one of Jimmy's inventions. I was maybe gonna have it to where they're gonna leave and like continue to use the invention, and then like, you know, Carl catches wind of it, and then
yeah,
he tells Jimmy about it, but then Carl's like, and Jimmy's like, no, it's cool, they can have it. And Carl, for some reason, just like is real mad about it. And so he tries to confront Calvin and Hobbes about it. And then Calvin's just like, what are you even trying to face me for, dude? And then just
yeah,
basically like, I don't know, it would go into like Calvin and Hobbes style superhero fight. And
yeah.
basically Carl would just like, because of his wheezing, it would be like his superpower. It would just be like Kirby, like big wind power and
Yeah.
shit.
There's lots of imagination. It just runs wild.
Yeah, man. There's many ways you can go with it.
I feel like if
So
it
I'm
was,
gonna say to the audience that if you've got a scenario for that matchup, Put it in the comments below.
Exactly. Yes. Audience participation. Go ahead and just let us know stuff. You know what? Matter of fact, if you have characters you would like us to add to our lists, put them in there. At some point, they'll get used. Give us
Absolutely.
maybe we'll make a wheel of only fan suggestions. We just need people to like, share, and subscribe.
And be sure to comment.
Yes, and be sure to comment that stuff. You know, if it was just if we stuck to just Carl in that scenario, I feel like Calvin would just think Carl's a loser, and then just
Yeah.
like throw snowballs at him, and then that would be the versus match.
There you go.
Yeah,
that would be way more wholesome.
because I mean, Carl himself has no feats of strength. I think
he would get winded just throwing a snowball.
Yeah, I think the most I've ever seen Carl actually do, other than like spray something with his inhaler, is I think I've seen him blow a snot bubble that was able to let him float.
Oh yeah, yo, I remember that.
Which was pretty gross in hindsight.
I mean, disgusting, but
Yeah.
impressive.
But it did let him fly up. So that's probably the extent of Carl's abilities. He can also survive in space.
They could have bonded, and like Carl could have taught Calvin how to blow his own snot bubbles to make him fly, and then Calvin could have just flown away with Hobbs, never to be seen from again. And Carl's just like, "Huh, what a nice guy," and then that's it.
Croissant.
Yeah, croissant, goodbye.
Are you gonna finish that croissant? That's perfect. So we've had a very interesting episode. We had Akuma versus B Rabbit from 8 Mile, the Four Horsemen Magicians versus Beast Boy, Hellboy versus Dora, and then Carl Weezer versus Calvin and Hobbs. So we have had a pretty fun episode, I'd say.
I thought so.
For anyone listening, always, if you want to draw one of these matchups, why not? Go right ahead. You can send them to me. If you have characters you want to add to our list, put them in the comments. If you have a better scenario than what we've come up with, put it in the comments. We want to hear from you.
That's it. And if we like what you got to say, maybe you'll get a feature yourself.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just feature you regardless of if we like it or not. Just because we just love our fans.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's it for this episode. Join us next time, and we'll see what we get.